Allen, Anderson, Bates, Bell, Berryhill, Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, Gaines, Galgiani, Hall, Hancock, Hernandez, Hertzberg, Hill, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Lara, Leno, Leyva, Liu, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, Morell, Wynn, Nielsen, Pan, Pavley, Roth, Stone, Vidak, Wykowski, Wolk.
Secretary notices the absence of a quorum. Can all the senators please report to the floor so we can begin our Senate session? Call the roll.
Allen, Anderson, Bates, Bell, Berryhill, Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, Gaines, Galgiani, Hall, Hancock, Hernandez, Hertzberg, Hill, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Lara, Leno, Leyva, Liu, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, Morell, Wynn, Nielsen, Pan, Pavley, Roth, Stein, Vidak, Wykowski, Wolk.
Members, a quorum is present. Would the members and our guests beyond the rail and in the gallery please rise? We will be led in prayer this morning by our chaplain, Sister Michelle Gorman, after which please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag by Senator Wykowski.
Let us center ourselves in God's presence. Our prayer today is from Maya Angelou, entitled Prayer. Father, Mother God, thank you for your presence during the hard and mean days, for then we have you to lean upon. Thank you for your presence during the bright and sunny days, for then we can share that which we have with those who have less. For those who have no voice, we ask you to speak. For those who feel unworthy, we ask you to pour your love out in waterfalls of tenderness. For those who live in pain, we ask you to bathe them in the river of your healing. For those who are lonely, we ask you to keep them company. For those who are depressed, we ask you to shower upon them the light of hope. Dear Creator, you, the borderless sea of substance, we ask you to give to all the world that which we need most, peace. Amen.
Thank you, members. We will now move, excuse me, to privileges of the floor. We have several members. Oh, Senator De Leon, under privileges of the floor. Senator Canella.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have some special guests in the gallery today. I've got students from the Hillmar FFA. Hillmar High School has offered FFA programs since about the 1930s. It's a real honor to have them. Let's give them a warm Senate welcome. So thank you for being here.
Welcome to your state capitol. Next week, Senator Pavley. Privilege of the floor, okay. Senator Wajkowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Over my right shoulder, we have members from the San Jose Conservation Corps who are here at the Capitol. They work on processing recycled materials. They're also getting a high school education, and they're making a difference in our community. I'd like to recognize them.
Welcome. Senator Block at Senator De Leon's desk.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my honor today to introduce to my colleagues the Superintendent of San Diego Unified School District, Cindy Martin. This is Cindy. I'm going to be telling you a lot about Cindy, but the most important thing is she's a good friend. She's been an educator for over 25 years working in San Diego area schools, and she first began as an elementary school teacher, working in one of the most challenging schools in San Diego, Central Elementary in City Heights, where she served for 10 years as a teacher, instructional leader, and principal. Now, the unique thing about Cindy, different from any superintendents we've hired in the past in San Diego, is she wasn't part of a long, huge national search where we brought in an outsider. Cindy went from being an elementary school teacher and principal straight to being superintendent of the nation's 7th largest urban K-12 district. An amazing move, an amazing change, and Cindy has handled the change with incredible grace and skill so that she is now considered truly a model superintendent here in California and throughout the country. In the past 2 years, I've worked with Cindy on several issues. She brings a wealth of knowledge and enthusiasm to the district. Most importantly, Cindy cares about the kids, and she knows what makes kids successful in the classroom. She's not been away from the classroom for many years like a lot of soups. She knows what happens. She's now inculcating her schools and her principals with the knowledge and enthusiasm and caring that she has. And I am just so happy she's here with us today. She was here on Tuesday in Sacramento for a meeting of educators from around the state. She's back again today, and her presence in Sacramento just makes it clear what an important force she is statewide. So, Cindy, my friend, thank you for being here.
Welcome. Members, we're still under privileges of the floor. Senator Anderson, under privileges of the floor.
Yes, I have are we doing resolutions in memory at this point, or are we doing introductions?
Introductions at this point.
I have some folks with me that I'd like to recognize. We have with us today the leaders of the California Federation of Women's Clubs from various parts of this great state of California. They're here this week to accept proclamations from the City of Sacramento and the County of Sacramento regarding their tree plaque project. The club is planning to purchase tree markers which will be placed on trees at the Sacramento Capitol Park indicating the species of trees. And you know what? I was supposed to reach outside. I hope they're coming in through the door right now. Maybe somebody could just usher them in. 1,500 trees were collected from all over the world, but most of them do not have plaques indicating what they are or where they're from.
Senator Anderson, give me a quick second. Members, it's a little loud. If you can please give your undivided attention to Senator Anderson as he's presenting his guests.
1,500 trees were collected from all over the world, but most of them do not have plaques indicating what they are or where they're from. And Chris and her team has resurrected this project, and their dedication and commitment is something that I'm inspired by and very proud of. We all should be. I'm honored to recognize their tireless efforts with state certificates of recognition. First, we have President Chris Herzog. Chris, if you'd wave. She out there? Excellent. She's from Lakeside. And then we also have the first Vice President, Toby Cannon. Kanan, thank you very much, from Covina. Then we have second Vice President, Dorsey Kelsey, from the Antelope Valley. Well, you know what? I am just dropping the ball all over the place. No wonder our trees have no plaques. Thank God you're doing this. So we also have the Conservation Chairman, Sonia Massey's. Okay, good. Whew, from Wildomar. Last but not least, we have the Public Relations Chair, Patricia Harvey from Bonsall, my district. Ladies, thank you so much for the good work that you're doing. And if you wouldn't mind staying back there, I know there's a lot of members that'd like to get a photo with you. So thank you, and keep up the good work.
Welcome to the California State Senate, ladies. Members, we're still under privileges of the floor. Senator Pavley at Senator De Leon's desk. Take a...
Thank you. I'll have to remember all that.
Thank you. Senator Pavley.
Hey, Kevin.
Senator Pavley.
Yes, thank you very much. Members, before I introduce, I learned from my classroom you don't talk over students.
Members, it's a little noisy. Please withhold your conversations.
Before I introduce my special guest this morning, I just wanted to acknowledge someone who was tragically injured in a very severe bicycle accident, Ernest Chung, who is the chair of the California State Parks and Recreation Commission. He is now stepping down as chair, putting all his attention at recovery, a serious bicycle accident. And so we wish him well, and I wanted to let you know that. He will stay on the commission, and we're hoping he'll be able to return and again represent the state. But my special guest today is also involved with California State Parks Commission, and yes, they're gathered here. You know, This is one of those jobs that sometimes is invisible to most of you here. It's not the high-profile job, but it's, I think, one of the most important jobs in the state. And the State Parks Commission is made up of some amazing talent and people. With me today is someone who's been on the State Parks Commission for nearly 16 years. He was appointed by Gray Davis and reappointed by Gray Davis, reappointed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, Governor Schwarzenegger, and recently appointed 4 years ago in 2011 by Governor Jerry Brown. So bipartisan support that he's a good person for the state parks. Paul Witt is who I'm talking about today. Amazing dedication to state parks, not only a strong advocacy for, of course, coastal protection and protection of resources, but really a strong proponent of access to state parks for everyone's communities. One of the ones he's been very passionate about is the investment in putting a park in downtown Los Angeles area, Los Angeles Historic Park, and bringing that access and outreach so that all Californians benefit from state parks experience. He's weathered through some tough times, as you know, for state parks. 70 parks closed potentially in 2011 and 12 in the budget, coming up with ways to reform the state park system. He's a team player, attends all the meetings. But I should share with you a little sidelight note. He's doing this while he's been a very successful producer and director and he lives in the Brentwood area of Los Angeles. If you've heard of Dead Poets Society, he produced that film, one of my favorites, right, with Robin Williams. Mark Leno just told me he saw that the other night. And for those of us who remember watching TV fondly in the 70s and 80s, if you've heard of the Golden Girls or Benson or Soap, and the list goes on, TV. And so here's the kind of people who, because they're passionate about giving back to the state and everyone, has spent nearly 16 years attending those meetings, making a difference in the discussion, not afraid of change because the state parks are going to need to change to be more sustainable. But I thought he deserved the recognition of this chamber for a job well done, not only on behalf of state parks, but to the state of California. Please join me in welcoming Paul Witt.
Welcome to the California State Senate. Glad to have you here.
And for those of you who haven't met him, please avail yourself. But it's not every day that we have people step up and volunteer, and he has done just that. So I want to, again, thank him very much. And we have a resolution to present to him on behalf of the State Senate and myself. Thank you.
Members, we're still under privileges of the floor. Senator De Leon. Senator De Leon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, we are flying the flag of Canada this morning in honor of our very distinguished guests, our visitors at the back of the chamber. It is with great pleasure that I introduce the Honorable Cassie Doyle, the Consul General of Canada in San Francisco, as well as the Honorable James Villeneuve, General Counsel of Canada in Los Angeles. Corporal Eric Shepard of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police is accompanying them, along with their respective counsels for foreign policy and diplomacy, the Honorable Yves Boulot and the Honorable Nadia Del Campo. This delegation is visiting Sacramento today to lead the 9th Annual Canada Day in the capital, a program of events and activities to highlight the close relationship and many shared areas of cooperation between Canada and California. As you know, Canada serves as one of the United States' greatest allies. In addition to sharing a border, our two nations share many mutual interests and partner on a multitude of issues, ranging from energy and environment to the environment to security and defense. Canada is also the United States' largest bilateral trading partner. In 2013, it was estimated that the United States and Canada exchanged approximately 1.4 billion in goods and services, or I should say 1.4 million in goods and services every minute, equaling nearly $2 billion a day. In California alone, over 1 million jobs depend on trade with our northern neighbor. Notably, we have partnered directly on climate change and cap and trade policy. Just recently, as many of you know, I was in Lima, Peru in December, representing the state of California, where we engaged with four ministers of the environment from various provinces, from British Columbia, Ottawa, Alberta, as well as Quebec. So issues in cap and trade, we have made significant strides towards reducing emissions and promoting the production of clean and renewable energy. Today, we recognize the unique and vital economic and cultural relationship, and we look forward to our continued collaboration in encouraging innovation and strengthening the long-standing bond between our two regions. Please join me in extending a very warm welcome to our Canadian guests. And colleagues, also to the great General Counsel of Canada in San Francisco, the Honorable Cassie Doyle, will share a few moments with each and every one of us.
Thank you very much, Senator. And on behalf of all my colleagues here and my counterpart, James Villeneuve in Los Angeles, let me just say how pleased we are to be here in this august chamber. As the Senator mentioned, today is Canada Day in Sacramento. It's this very special day that we celebrate the partnership, the friendship between our two jurisdictions. The interesting thing about Canada and California is we almost have a comparable population size, although I think we've got you beat in terms of geography. And you are ahead of us on the economic front. But we do enjoy really deep economic relationship between our two jurisdictions. Last year, it was almost $55 billion worth of trade in goods and services. And one thing we've learned recently is that Canada is the largest customer for California's export of services. And that is a fast-growing part of the export economy down here in California. So we enjoy that kind of a relationship. We also are the largest customer for agricultural products out of California, as well as computer and electronic equipment, which surprised me, actually, when I discovered that. But you know, it's much more than the economic relationship. We enjoy really deep people-to-people connections. We have a really large expat community of Canadians down here in California, which some of us could mention that we can understand given the winter conditions right now. But we do have over 1 million Canadians living here in California. And through that, those connections, we can see these kind of like investment partnerships in everything from entertainment. We have a big presence in Hollywood. We also have a very large presence in the Silicon Valley. We have a notable group called the C100 that down in the Silicon Valley of our top 100 Canadians who are in all the big corporates in Google and Apple and all of them, as well as very active in the venture capital field. But more importantly, there's just so many family connections. Almost everybody I meet has some distant relative that is Canadian, and those are the bonds that we share between our two jurisdictions. The other thing is that we see collaboration between our universities, between our law enforcement agencies, and between our government agencies. As the senator mentioned, one of our big themes on today's day is clean energy and environment. So we're hosting some experts from Canada on renewable energy today over a lunchtime session at the Sutter Club, because we know that that's one of your big challenges and also, I think, aspirations in California is to achieve half of your grid being derived from renewable energy. We have a long experience with renewable energy. In fact, we enjoy about 60% of our energy, of our electricity is generated by renewables up in Canada. So we're sponsoring that today. And also, just in celebration, we have a reception today from 5 to 7 at the Sheraton, and we hope some of you will be able to drop by and say hello to us. So in celebration of Canada Day, again, thank you so much for welcoming us here on the floor. It's an honor for us to be here. And long live the connection between Canada and California. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Senator Gaines on this item.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to recognize Council General Cassie Doyle and the wonderful trip that we had to Canada last year with Senator Steinberg and Assemblymember Cooley. And it was very exciting. We did learn a lot about hydropower, the ability to work with a tribe in British Columbia on a joint effort for renewable energy that also preserves the ability of salmon to spawn. And so I thought it was very dynamic in that you were able to produce this energy and at the same time balance the environmental aspects. I also wanted to recognize you for the great job you've done in regulatory reform. And that happened under Premier Campbell, where they didn't impact the environment in the way they did it. They were really looking at how do you streamline the economy. And in fact, the language in the reg reform said that we will not impact the environment in this regulatory reform. And they did a great job. They eliminated 140,000 regulations of a body of 400,000, and that economy has been robust. And I think there's a lot of parallels between British Columbia and California. So I'm presenting an offer to my colleagues across the aisle that we have an opportunity that we can reform and still protect the environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Gaines. Through the President Lara, I just want to share Cassie Doyle, the spirit of both of the state of California and Canada coming together, not just economically, but people-wise too. So with that, to the general counsels, please look after my cousins, Jose Armando Trudeau and Juanita Cousteau, in Canada right now. With that, thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, and welcome to our Canadian guests. Members, we are moving to messages from the governor. Messages will be deemed read. Messages from the assembly will be deemed read. Reports of committee will be deemed read and amendments adopted. Members, under motions and resolutions. Without objection, the Senate journals for February 23rd through February 26, 2015 will be approved as corrected by the minute clerk. Senator Fuller, for a purpose to your rise.
To request to move file to inactive. I'd like to request to move file item 9, SCR 15, to the inactive file.
Without objection. Members, under motions and resolutions still. Members, we're going to move back to privileges of the floor.